We want to welcome you all to another wonderful Monday evening here for our science and cooking lecture series. And today we have Nando Giovanni, who will be our star. Before we start, as we always do, we take a moment to thank our sponsors. So this event, and indeed this entire series, would not be possible without the generous support from a number of sponsors, and I just want to go through them quickly. So Jose Andres' Think Food Group and Alicia Foundation provided both financial and intellectual support. So Whole Foods, as we've said before, donated all of the food for the laboratory section of the course, which is help beyond imagination. The Harvard University Faculty Development and Diversity, Cole Palmer, and actually tonight I'd like to especially acknowledge Le Creuset. Colleen from Le Creuset is here. And Le Creuset, and it's especially fitting that Le Creuset is here for several reasons, one of which you will see that Nando's kitchens are filled with pots from Le Creuset, which you will see in what he's about to show you. I also learned tonight so we have actually some of the pots from Le Creuset here, and I also learned that we will at some point in this public lecture series have a raffle where we will give away pots. But they didn't trust me. They don't tell me when, and I have no idea. And they don't trust me because I tell everyone everything that I know, and they know I would just come right out. So I don't know when this will happen, but apparently this will happen. So we'd also like to thank Mars and Asade Business School. And so those are the sponsors. So as is tradition here, for those of you who haven't been here before, we start out with 10 minutes of science. That is the science that actually occurred in the class that goes along with this lecture series. We can't, unfortunately, in the time that we have, tell you all of the science, but we try to just tell you a little, and so that's what I'm going to do. So in the next 10 minutes, or even less if I can do it, I'm going to show you what happened in the class this week. So the first thing that happened in the class this week, which presumably all of you are happy to have not experienced, is that we had a midterm exam. We couldn't show you the whole exam, but I thought it might be amusing to show you one question from our exam. So here it is. You can argue with your neighbor about it. A prominent public figure announces that he is going on a new diet to lose weight, in which he will continue to eat exactly as before, but no longer cook his food. Will the caloric content of his diet change, and why? We had lots of questions. That was one. Okay, so we had an exam. So in the class, the science in the class, we didn't have a lot of time this week to do science in the class, but we did something which was a wonderful interlude between the topic that last week, which was protein denaturation, and the topic this week, which is emulsions, which is that we talked about the science of cheese. And so what we reminded the class of, and what I will remind you of, is what we said last week, which is that at the center of much of cooking is the unfolding and coagulation of proteins. So proteins are, by heating or whatever, unfolded, and then they stick to each other, and a food tends to be cooked when this happens. And there are lots of examples of this that we've gone through here and in the class. There is the cooking of fish, which occurs at various phase transitions where the fish goes from uncooked to cooked. This also can happen by changing pH, not just by temperature. So at pH 2, you can cook fish. This is the idea behind ceviche, which actually the students made in our class. But then the question that we asked is, well, what happens when you do the same experiment for milk? So suppose you take milk, which is a very common ingredient. Milk obviously contains protein. You see? Here's the label, 8 grams of protein. And so the proteins could denature in principle when you heated them or changed the pH. And so we decided to just do in the class the experiment where we took milk and we boiled it, and we tried to see if it coagulated. And then we also asked what happened when you changed the pH. So that was the question. And so we did the experiment. So I don't have time to show you the experiments here. It was very exciting, as the teaching fellows and whatnot who are here can attest to. We did 2 experiments. We first boiled milk, and then we add acid to milk. And so this is the results. When you boil milk, basically nothing happens. There's a thin layer of crust that forms on top. That is actually coagulated proteins, but that's because of enhanced evaporation at the surface. And the proteins in the bulk, which are at a temperature that is much higher than that at which protein denaturation occurs, don't coagulate. So then we added acid to milk. Actually, our acid, we first started with lemon juice and we did vinegar, but then we really went all the way and did something you couldn't eat, which is we added hydrochloric acid. And anyway, when you do that, it turns out that milk coagulates, and that's actually the essence of cheese. So that's cheese. And this week, the students are, actually as we speak, in fact, right now, they are making ricotta cheese. Okay, this is also the problem of sour milk. So this is sort of disgusting. If I didn't tell you it was sour milk, you wouldn't think it was disgusting. If I told you it was cheese, it would look good. But actually, it's the same thing that happens. It becomes more acidic, and there's coagulation. Okay, so but the point of all of this is that this is very strange, right? Because all of cooking that we talked about thus far says that but when you heat proteins, they coagulate. So why is it that milk behaves so differently than meat and eggs and other things? And so that's sort of the mystery. And the answer, and this is very much related to what Nando is going to talk about tonight, is that the proteins in milk are arranged in a very special way. And indeed, milk is perhaps the simplest, although Dave, I think, would argue perhaps the most complicated example of an emulsion in which there are droplets of fat and there are proteins, the curds, the famous curds and whey, casein and whey, which are distributed in the liquid, and they stick to the fat in rather complicated ways, which is what gives milk its unusual properties. So we then showed the students milk under a microscope. So now we're going to just show you, this is a movie from the lecture of milk under the microscope. We tried to bring a microscope so we could show it all to you, but it didn't quite work out. So we're just showing you a movie. See, there are little fat globules that are jiggling around. They're jiggling because of the thermal motion, entropy, actually. We've talked about entropy in the series before. They're jiggling because of entropy. And that's basically the deal. So that's what milk looks like. And when acid contacts the milk, all of the jiggling stops, it coagulates, and you have cheese. Okay, so this is the sort of typical slide that we made for the theme of the week with the equation of the week. So for those of you, no, you're not supposed to clap yet. The equation of the week. So we have a tradition for those of you who haven't been here that when the equation of the week comes up, everyone has to clap in deference. So the theme of the week is, and I'll just read it to you to make sure to set the stage really for Nando. So the art of stabilizing emulsions and foam is central to cooking, with examples ranging from natural substances like milk to culinary inventions, foam, mayonnaise, and sauces. They can make liquids and gases become solid. And then we explain what emulsions are, what foams are, and then talk about the physics of them. And there are sort of two equations that describe that. I'm going to discuss one today, and I think Dave is going to discuss one for everyone who comes next week and explain why it's so important. And the recipe of the week is aioli. Now, actually, I should say now, I have one more slide yet before you go. But Nando has been in the back making aioli. And in fact, we have here garlic aioli. See, it's dangerous for me to touch anything. We've demonstrated that before in this thing. But anyway, so after we're done, we're going to go in the back and prepare garlic aioli, assuming that it's still edible. Is it still edible? Still okay? Still okay. Still okay, good. Still okay. We're going to prepare it for you on bread, and all of you will have garlic aioli. So actually, I smell like garlic now, and so will all of you. The whole room will smell like garlic. Okay, so, but one more idea, and then we'll stop. And this is when you're supposed to clap for the equation of the week. So the idea of making emulsions, the basic idea, and why it's so brilliant that he is able to do this, and everything he's going to show you today is really from the point of view of the scientists in the audience is magic. You shouldn't be able to do what he does. And the reason is because when you make interfaces, so an emulsion like aioli has droplets of one phase in another, so droplets of water, of oil and water, for example. And such interfaces are energetically costly, and thus would like to be eliminated. That is, the system is energetic, it's happier when there are no interfaces. So this is why when you take vinaigrette salad dressing and you shake it up, then unless you buy the store-bought varieties in which they've asked people like Dave how to, so this won't happen, but if you make it yourself, then if you take oil and vinegar and shake it up, then it separates the top. It doesn't want to stay that way. And the reason it doesn't want to is demonstrated by the equation of the week, is because the surface costs energy. And the question is how do you get rid of this problem? And the answer is that these droplets actually end up being coated with other molecules, which are, in fact, proteins in general. But they can be other things, but they're mainly proteins. And those proteins provide a protection barrier to stop this from happening. And the magic of this aioli, which is extremely hard to make, is that somehow Nando was able to get the right amount, to get garlic to stabilize this emulsion. No, it is. It's stable. He's good. He's just showing. It's good. But anyway, with that, with that, that's the end. That's the end of my 10 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever that was. And so I'd like to now welcome Nando Giovanni, who's come here from Spain to tell us about emulsions.
Thank you.
Digue-li.
Thank you very much.
Digue-li que quasi bé me'l talla.
You almost got it separated.
No, no és culpa seva.
It's not your fault.
Has de fer així, a poc i l'acabes de muntar, vale? Bueno, primer, moltes gràcies.
Thank you very much.
I moltes gràcies a l'Otger.
Thank you very much, Otger.
El Dave i el Michael, doncs, que han cregut que jo era l'indicat, i Alicia.
Because they thought I was the right person, and thank you, Alicia.
Em fa molta il·lusió estar aquí.
I'm really happy to be here.
Bueno, començarem presentant-nos una mica com on és casa meva.
I'm going to tell you about my home.
Estic a Espanya, al costat de Catalunya.
I live in Spain, in Catalonia.
A una hora de Barcelona.
An hour away from Barcelona.
Si posem el vídeo, si és possible.
We can play the video.
Ja? Is the new restaurant. And week, una setmana que s'ha acabat.
It was just finished a week ago.
Jo estic aquí i la meva dona treballant a casa.
And I'm here and my wife is working at home.
Amb dos que s'estimin i un que treballa n'hi ha prou.
Two people who love each other and just one that works, that's okay, that's enough.
My team. També treballen allà, si no seria aquí.
They also work there, otherwise I would not be here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comencem?
Let's get started.
Comencem. Bueno, us anem a fer tot emulsions.
We're going to show you all kinds of emulsions.
12 emulsions
12 emulsions.
diferents.
12 different emulsions.
Encara que em diu el Dave que algunes no són emulsions.
Although Dave tells me that some are not technically are not emulsions. I'm so sorry.
Comencem.
So let's start.
Bueno, comencem amb un aioli.
We start with aioli.
With garlic and olive oil.
Garlic and olive oil.
It's Catalan.
Yeah, I'm Catalan.
You need salt, water, olive oil and garlic.
I think you got it.
Change. Change. Necessitarem, posem els alls
So
a dins el morter,
we put garlic in the mortar
amb la sal,
with the salt,
així ens evitarem de que no saltin els alls.
so as to avoid the garlic jumping all over the place.
Els picarem
So we're going to crush them
i serà molt important obtenir fins que obtinguem una pasta molt homogènia,
and beat them
molt xafada.
until we get a sauce that is really homogeneous.
5 minutes,
About 5 minutes.
Yes. Salt and garlic.
Salt and garlic.
Yes.
I got it.
Aquesta salsa
This sauce
és molt antiga i és una
it's a very old sauce.
i és molt forta, és molt forta de gust. I ara farem aquesta salsa, ara ja no es fa perquè és massa forta.
It's very strong, and now we don't do it the same way because it's so strong.
És necessari un 40% dels alls per un litre, 40% per un litre d'oli.
You need 40% of garlic to a liter of olive oil.
Masses alls.
So too much garlic.
Aquí n'hi hem posat molts menys.
So here there's not as much garlic in that sauce.
Comencem a muntar,
So we start beating it
gota a gota.
drop by drop.
És molt important al començament anar molt a poc a poc.
And it's really important to do it really slowly at the beginning.
I és molt important que tingui la mateixa temperatura,
And it's
els alls que l'oli.
also very important that both the garlic and olive oil are at the same temperature.
I ja heu vist que per allargar-ho m'ajudo amb unes gotetes d'aigua.
And then I also help the sauce with some drops of water.
Després us ho explicarà el Dave o el Michael per què l'aigua ajuda a anar bé.
And David or Michael will tell you later why water helps that to work.
I anem muntant, anar fent amb paciència.
We keep beating, whisking it with a lot of patience.
Hi ha un so característic,
And there's a really characteristic sound.
que quan està muntada en diem trincar en català.
Once the sauce is ready, we call that trincar. Trincar would be the sound of the beating of the pestle against the mortar.
Estarà acabat quan se'ns aguanta, quasi bé podem girar el morter. Aquest.
And then it will be ready when it's almost thick.
És molt espès, veus?
It's quite thick if you look at the texture.
I quan se'ns ha tallat aquest d'aquí,
And this one got separated.
ens anava a tallar
Well, it was about to separate
perquè l'hem deixat junt.
because we let it together.
Si el separem a petits trossets, no es talla.
If we separate it by little pieces, it doesn't separate.
No sé per què.
I don't know why. He will tell us.
Una altra emulsió.
Another emulsion.
És African emulsion.
An African emulsion.
It's the same. És la mateixa.
It's the same emulsion.
Actualitzada.
But it's updated.
Menys anys.
There's not so much garlic.
I ajudar-nos, aquí vam fer 5 litros d'oli.
And this is 5 liters of oil.
Amb una cabeça d'alls.
To 1 garlic clove, like the whole thing.
I 4 rovells d'ou.
And 4 eggs, the yellow of the egg.
Yolk.
Yolk, thank you.
Yolk. For yolk.
For yolk.
Yes. I sal.
And salt.
Perfect. It's very important, the garlic and salt. No salt.
The garlic and...
Perdona.
No, that's great.
No és una cosa per fer broma, això, molta feina.
This is no joke, it's because there is a lot of work.
És molt important obtenir una bona pasta abans de començar.
It's really important to get a good paste before we start.
Aquí amb les proteïnes del rovell ens ajuda a que sigui més fàcil de muntar.
And then the proteins of the yolk help you to blend.
I el fem molt més agradable perquè hi ha molt menys all.
And then it's nicer because there's less garlic.
Començarem gota a gota.
And then we start
I cada
drop
cop
by drop.
n'hi podrem anar tirant més.
And then we get to put more oil little by little.
Per la duana no me'l haguessin deixat passar aquest morter.
They would not have let me take that through customs, that mortar.
Not possible.
Impossible.
4 minutes està acabat en 4 minuts.
It's done in 4 minutes.
Perquè enganyem, aquí.
Because this, you know,
The movie, no és
in the movie in 4 minutes.
30-35 minuts vaig tardar.
It took me 30 to 35 minutes, actually.
És com anar al gimnàs.
It's like going to the gym.
És la trampa, no?
This is like the catch.
Llavors ara anem corrent i com més tens, més ràpid pots anar. I em vaig ajudant d'anar-hi posant aigua.
And then now we can go quicker as it grows, and I can help. Adding water helps the sauce.
Es talla per dues coses, o per canvi de temperatura,
And it separates for 2 reasons: either a change in temperature,
o per massa espès o massa clar.
or because it's either too liquid or too thick.
Igualment, ells ens ho hauran d'explicar, per això estem on
They
estem.
will let us know why. That's why we are here.
No és de riure, no. Thank you. Bueno, ara més fàcil.
That's going to be easier.
Machine. Turmix,
Because
màquina.
we're going to use the machine, the blender.
Maionès. Mayo,
We're going to do mayonnaise.
hi posem 3 ous per cada litre.
We use 3 eggs to each liter.
Estem fent 2 litres d'oli de
We're
girassol,
doing 2 liters of sunflower oil,
6 rovells, 10
And then
grams de sal per litre,
6 yolks, and 10 grams of salt per liter.
i la mateixa temperatura dels ous amb l'oli.
And the same temperature, the oil and the eggs, they have to have the same temperature.
És molt important començar apagant on-off el turmix.
You have to, it's very important that you start with the, we call that turmix in Spain because it's kind of a brand name, but you know, the hand blender. It's really important to start it like stop.
Stop, i slowly,
And then slowly,
i quan
turn
ja
it
veus
on.
que t'agafa força,
and then when you see it like that it starts to thicken,
començar a pujar molt lentament.
then you raise the blender little by little. I've done that before, that's why I know. I know.
Ara començaré a pujar molt a poc.
So I'm going to start raising it little by little, very slowly.
Look at this. It's done.
It's done.
Bueno, molt fàcil també,
This is very easy too.
canviem els rovells d'ou
We're going to change the yolks
per la llet.
to milk. We're going to use milk instead.
En aquest cas fem per litre 300 de llet,
So
300 grams,
300 grams of milk,
700 d'oli de girassol,
700 sunflower oil,
10 grams per litre de sal.
10 grams per liter of salt.
I podem fer-ho amb el gust que vulguem.
And we can use any taste we want.
Amb wasabi,
We can put wasabi,
all,
garlic,
llimona,
lemon,
herbes verdes com
green herbs
xif,
like chives,
etc. Persil.
etc. parsley.
Okay. Em faig tanta quantitat que tinc molta canalla jo a casa.
I make a lot of it because I have a lot of children at home.
No, és fet aposta perquè ha de ser proporcional la quantitat amb la força del turmix.
This is meant to be okay.
Ha de ser proporcional la força del turmix per la quantitat que en vols fer.
The
Si això volguéssim fer un turmix petit
of
no
the
aniria
hand
bé.
blender, it has to be proportional to the quantity that you want to make.
Amb la força del turmix, eh?
Meaning, the power of the hand blender.
I aquí tornem a començar molt a poc a baix i
And then
anem
we
pujant
start
a poc.
again really slowly from the bottom, and then very slowly we raise it little by little towards the top.
Aquí també es pot fer amb això que teniu aquí, que teniu a les cases.
And here we can also do it here with these things you have here at home in the houses. It's like a processor,
Un blender,
a blender.
però quan estàs al mig fer, l'has de fer físicament.
But then when you're halfway, you have to usually use your physical motions.
Exacte. Sí.
Shake it,
Yes.
with your hands.
Yes. Molt forta.
Very.
Perfecte. Dic que aquesta salsa la vam fer
We made this sauce
per als caterings i
for
grans menjadors.
caterings, and with a lot of people are going to eat.
Canviem els ous
And then
per la llet.
we change, when we do it in big quantities, we change the eggs, and instead we use milk.
I així sanitàriament evitem la salmonel·losi.
Because this is a way to avoid salmonella.
Seguim? Sí.
You're not going to have a little treat.
Ara us reparteixen l'all i oli.
And this is aioli, bread on oil,
African aioli.
the African one.
El mateix que hem fet,
It's
poc
the
all
same we
amb
did.
rovell.
Not that much oil, and then the yolk.
Va, anem. La següent recepta
Next recipe,
és una vinagreta clàssica.
it's a classical vinaigrette.
Sal,
Salt,
amb pepper,
pepper,
black pepper,
black pepper,
vinegar,
vinegar.
no puc dir jo això, si vols. Vinegar and olive oil. It's very important, olive oil suau.
The olive oil has to be kind of mild.
Si és català millor, que és molt
If
bo.
it's Catalan, it's even better.
És de veritat, a més a
It's
més.
because it's the real thing.
Comencem a emulsionar
And then we start shaking it, to emulsify it, stirring it, whisking it.
fins que obtinguem una emulsió
Until
molt
we
ben feta.
get the right emulsion.
Veus? Però aquesta emulsió no és estable per sempre.
So
Aquesta emulsió no és estable per sempre.
this emulsion is not stable forever,
Es talla al cap de 2 hores,
because 2 hours later it separates.
al costat hi teniu una
You
tallada.
can see one that's separated. I guess the one on the left.
Sí,
The one on the left.
i després hi ha un truco,
And then there's a trick.
que és posar dins d'un biberon,
Then you put in kind of a milk bottle, this.
remenar-ho físicament i es lliga al moment.
And then you shake it physically, and then it blends back together again.
I en canvi l'altra la tindrem tallada.
Whereas the other one is going to stay separate.
Després, ara, amb el temps,
And then as the time goes by,
doncs, vam conèixer la xantana
we got to know Shantam gum.
i quan fem el McDonald's McDonald's, per exemple,
Well,
al McDonald's fan servir xantana.
and that's what they use at McDonald's.
Fan una... barregen xantana amb aigua,
They mix xanthan gum with water,
ho incorporem,
and then we add it in,
1 gram per litre.
1 gram per liter,
Queda bastant espès, 1 gram.
and it gets pretty thick.
Si és 0,8 per
If
litre,
it's,
millor.
0.8 to the liter is even better.
Aquí n'hi ha 1 gram.
Here, there's a gram here.
I aquí et queda una estable, una vinagreta estable per la vida, quasi.
It's a stable vinaigrette almost for life.
També serveix per posar rajols per construir.
It can also be used for tiles, building, bricks.
No problem. És una mica massa espessa.
It's a little too thick.
Aquí estic explicant mentides, eh?
Here I'm telling lies.
Thank you, thank you. Bueno, ara anem a fer un aire de pastanaga.
Now we're going to make carrot air.
Hem liquat pastanagues,
We have liquefied carrots
pastanagues del meu hort,
from my garden,
my vegetable garden,
my vegetable garden,
i l'hem posat senzillament aquí dins.
and we just put it in the container, in the bowl,
Hi posem paper de film
and we put some plastic film,
perquè no ens embrutem, bàsicament.
basically so that we don't get dirty.
I el posem al túrmix aixecant-lo una mica que faci bombolles.
And then we use the blender and we lift it a little so that it makes bubbles.
I va generant bombolles i bombolles i va
And
generant
then
aquest
there's
aire,
more and more bubbles because there's this air that it generates
sense haver-hi posat res.
without having added anything in.
L'Otger us ho explicarà per què passa.
And Ujay will tell you why that is so.
Després.
Later.
I queda un aire molt estable.
And this is a very stable air.
Es pot fins congelar,
You can even freeze it.
ja ho veureu.
We'll see.
Agafem només l'aire de sobre.
And we only take the top of it, the air on top of it.
Si en volguéssim fer més,
If we wanted to
traiem
make more,
el de sobre i seguim.
then we take the top part off and then we carry on making more.
És una manera d'abaratir els plats, també.
It's a way of making the dishes cheaper, actually.
Seguim.
Let's go on.
Un aire de mar.
This is sea air.
És una recepta
This recipe,
de casa meva
it's a home recipe.
que fem amb ostres.
And we make that with oysters.
Les agafem, les obrim, les traiem
So
la closca
we open, we get them off its shell,
i les posem en una aigua
of their shell, and we place them in water.
de mar, si pot ser,
If it's possible, seawater
amb una gota de llimona.
with a drop of lemon juice.
I després el que fem és escaldar les ostres amb un oli amb all i bitxo.
And then we
Oli fregit, oli
okay,
calent,
and then we saute the oysters with oil,
oli en pebre picant
and pepper,
i
spicy pepper,
bàsicament i llaurer,
and bay leaf.
bay leaf. I després el que hem fet és que l'hem colat, hem tret, les hem
And
colat
then we strain them,
i hem afegit lecitina
and then we've added lecithin,
i turmixem. I fem un
and
aire,
then we blend it again, and we do an air. We make an air again.
si aquest aire el tenim entre 45 i 55 graus de
And if
temperatura,
this air is between 55,
45, 55,
45 and 55 degrees,
ens surt més aire.
there's more air.
Aquí el tenia fred, em
More air
sortia
comes
poc.
out. Here it was a little cold, so there wasn't much air coming out.
Coses del directe.
It's, direct. Live.
És realment una bona recepta.
It's really good recipe.
També hi posem unes petites verdures
And then we also put some little vegetables
i enciams de mar,
and
algues,
algae, seaweed,
seaweed, and xif.
and chives.
Xai. Quan tu te les poses a la boca,
Then when you put that in your mouth,
sembla que et mengis un tros de mar.
you feel like you are eating a piece of the sea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Passem a emulsions amb calent. Emulsions amb calent, ara.
This is hot or warm emulsions.
Aquí és la salsa holandesa.
This is Dutch sauce.
Hem agafat i hem clarificat, hem posat a escalfar la mantega fins que se separa el greix del sòlid.
We've heated the butter until the fat separates from the
De greix and milk. No, que el greix se separa de la part líquida.
yeah, the fat separates from the liquid part.
I hem posat el bany Maria, un altre recipient.
And then we place it at a bain-marie or double boiler.
Hi posem rovells d'ou,
Then we use a couple of yolks,
salt,
salt,
lemon,
lemon,
i comencem a muntar-ho.
and then we start whisking
Fins que tinguem la mateixa temperatura
until we reach the same temperature
de la mantega amb el
as
rovell d'ou.
the butter. So they both egg and the eggs and the butter have the same temperature.
Comença a muntar amb ajuda de temperatura 45-50 graus.
So we start by 45 or 55 degrees. We start beating.
És molt més fàcil
It's easier
que es muntin els rovells.
that to do it this way, that the yolk blends.
Això és a temps real, aquí no hi ha invents.
This is the real time. There's no tricks.
En un moment s'ha muntat.
So
Comprovo la mateixa
we
temperatura
did that really quickly, and then I'm just checking the temperature,
i pots començar a muntar.
and then you can start.
Comencem posant-hi la
Blending.
part grassa
So we start with the fat, the fatty part,
i quan veiem que comença a espessar-se massa,
and when we see that it's starting to thicken a little too much,
hi posem la llimona,
then we add the lemon,
unes gotes.
some drops.
Aquí el Carles, l'altra mà dreta
This
meva,
is Carlos. This is another right hand
Un
that
dels
I
que
have.
estan treballant.
One of them that is working now.
l'altra mà dreta la tinc aquí.
The
és el
other
Matías.
right hand is here, right here with me, helping.
Veus, ara és massa espessa i tiro la part de la
This is
llet.
too thick. This is too thick now, so I'm pouring some
Ho veureu, veus? Mira, ho veureu.
some milk.
És la part, veus, el xirigot, la
The-
part de sota.
The shirigot is the part that stays at the bottom.
Se'ns torna a recuperar, veieu?
So see, now it gets thicker again.
Quan la
It
tinc
gets
bé,
back to the right way.
torno a posar la part de sobre.
And when I think it's the right way, then I use the part on top.
Si hi ha la mateixa temperatura
If it's the same temperature,
i controles la textura,
and then you control the texture,
pots anar muntant
you can
sense parar.
just do it non-stop,
Molt fàcil.
beating it non-stop. It's very easy.
I aquí ho acabem amb llimona que n'hi hem tirat i xif.
And then we finish it with some lemon and some chives.
I podria ser una salsa bearnesa, aquesta podria ser acabat amb un altre gust,
And then this could be a Béarnaise sauce, or finish it off with another taste,
que ho haguéssim fet amb vinagre d'estragó
like estragon vinegar, for example.
i estragó picat.
And this is
Estragó picat.
minced, chopped estragon. Tarragon.
Tarragon. En sal amb
And
black
salt
pepper.
and black pepper.
White pepper.
White pepper.
Ja està.
And that's it.
És una salsa ideal per
It's
acompanyar
ideal
uns espàrrecs
for asparagus,
i després gratinar,
and then you can grate them,
un peix, etc.
fish, and other things.
Aquí faríem una altra... Gràcies. Una altra salsa molt semblant,
This is another, it's a similar sauce.
però amb aquesta es diu una salsa cardinal.
It's called salsa cardinal,
És fet amb
or
mantega,
cardinal sauce.
una
And you make it with
una
butter
mantega amb gust de gambes.
that tastes like shrimp.
Agafem caps de gamba,
So we use the heads of the shrimp,
saltejats,
and we saute them
amb all,
with garlic
amb bitxo,
and chili.
I després els posem una hora a dins de la mantega.
And then we place them in the butter for an hour,
Aproximadament a 50 graus.
about 50 degrees, at about 50
Colem,
degrees. And then we strain them,
i obtenim una mantega amb gust de cap de gamba.
and
molt
then
bo.
we get this butter that has shrimp taste,
Ahir
the head of the shrimp.
ahir al vespre em van dir que aquí no menjàveu gaire els caps de gamba.
Last night they told me that here you don't really eat the heads of the shrimp.
A casa
At home,
canviava jo amb les meves germanes el cap per la cua.
With my sisters, we used to swap the head for the tail. Actually, I wanted
No, que canviàvem la cua i el cap.
the head.
I aquí és el mateix, the same temperature i no problem. Es va muntant sense cap problema.
It just blends together if it's the same temperature with no problem.
Hem muntat els rovells
So we've done it with the yolks,
i anem posant la part de sobre,
and then the
La part
part on
clarificada.
top, the clarified part, we keep adding it.
i quan se'ns espessa una mica hi
And-
posem la part de sota.
And when it starts thickening, it gets thickened and thicker, we use the part on the bottom. We add that in.
Aquí és ho veureu molt fàcil, que ara es comença a espessir.
You can see that it's going to start to thicken.
Aquí el xirigot té gust de
And
gamba.
here the chirigot tastes like shrimp.
Veus, aquí es comença a espessir.
You see it's starting to thicken.
Si tens en compte el control de la temperatura, mateixa temperatura,
So if you control the temperature,
i que no s'espessi o s'aclareixi massa,
and then you are careful that it doesn't get too clear, too thick or too light,
no tens cap problema.
there's no problem.
Queda una salsa ideal per
There's-
un peix,
Then you have an ideal sauce for fish
unes gambes,
or
etc.
shrimp.
És una salsa que quan jo vaig aprendre a fer-la,
When I learned to make this sauce,
em pensava que era un gran
I
cuiner,
thought he was a real great chef or cook,
però ara ja fa 25 anys.
but that was 25 years ago.
I cada dia sé que no sé res.
And every
que sé
day I
menys.
know that I know less.
Ara passem al pil-pil, una emulsió de bacallà.
And this is pil, an emulsion with cod.
Fish cod. Fish.
Yeah.
Fish bone.
And we use the
Les
fish,
espines
the fish, the bones of the fish.
Que no és realment una emulsió,
It's not really
és una gelatina.
an emulsion, is a gelatin.
Em van dir ahir.
They told me yesterday.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Hem posat les espines
So
amb
we
oli
place the bones in oil and garlic,
i cues de julivert.
and then parsley.
Hem portat a 80
the
graus
ends. And then we heat it to 80 degrees.
sí, 80 graus. Hem apartat del foc, hem deixat refredar
And then we took it aside, and then we let it cool
hem deixat refredar
down.
i quan tornem a escalfar,
And then when we warm it up again,
quan està sobre uns 40, 35, 40, 45 graus,
when it's about 40, 30, 35 degrees,
només amb una emulsió feble,
with
amb una
with a gentle emulsion.
Ens queda ben gelificat.
It gets this gelatin-like consistency, all of it. It turns into that.
Veus, queda amb una salsa
See,
molt gelatinada i
the sauce is very gelatin-like.
molt barata, és feta amb espines.
It's very cheap. It's made with fish bones.
Típic català.
Typical Catalan.
És la base per fer el pròxim plat que farem ara.
It's the base to make this dish that we're going to do now. We're going to make now.
Aquí fem un llom de bacallà amb tripetes de bacallà.
We're going to start with what they call llom de bacallà, which is cod fillet
Amb les tripetes de bacallà.
with a tribe, the little tribes of the cod.
És un plat molt estimat allà.
It's a dish that we really love there.
Molt gelatinós.
It has a lot of gelatin.
Les hem posat a dessalar.
We desalted them.
Tot una nit, 12 hores.
12 hours.
L'endemà les hem posat amb aigua freda.
And the next day we place them in cold water.
I les hem arrencat a bullir.
And then we boil them.
Una vegada bullides les apartem.
And once they boil, we put them aside.
I deixem que s'hidratin.
And we let them hydrate.
I queden així d'esponjoses i gelatinoses.
And then they're really sponges and gelatin-like.
Aquí vam triar les més bones.
Here we chose the best ones.
Hem agafat oli
i
hem posat el llom
and we placed the filet.
I ara hi estic afegint
la
salsa que hem fet abans.
And now we are adding the sauce that we made before.
És molt important treballar amb aquestes paelles que treballo, que són creuset.
It's very important to use these pans that I am using, which are creuset. Creuset.
El proper any volem que també patrocinin el curs.
Next year we also would like them to sponsor
Thank you.
the event.
Realment van molt bé.
They really work well.
Jo no ho sabia.
I didn't know.
Jo no ho sabia que ho eren. Ho vaig fer
I didn't know they were that kind. I really did it without knowing. But they were.
Són les paelles del diumenge, són les paelles més bones que
They
tinc.
are the ones we use on Sundays. They are the best pans we have.
Aquí hem arrencat el bull, veus, ens ha
So
quedat una
it's starting
salsa
to boil, and then we get this sauce,
molt gelatinosa,
very gelatin-like.
i afegim una mica d'oli, el lliguem.
We add a little oil, and then we blend it.
És una salsa molt... El que seria molt bo, que estic explicant, que seria molt bo, acabar-hi un ou.
It would be really good here to, crack
Trencar-hi un ou a dins
an egg in it,
i es queda cuit amb la seva salsa.
and then it cooks in the sauce.
És de les coses més bones que
It's
hi ha.
one of the really best things you can have.
Si els ous, a més, són d'unes gallines felices.
If the eggs come from happy hands, of course.
És molt important.
It's very important.
És un plat típic basc.
This is a traditional Basque dish.
Bueno, ara anem a fer coses en directe.
Now let's do a live work here.
Gràcies. El gabinet. El gabinet m'has de donar. Poses al costat meu. Aquí tenim un codony,
This is a quince.
L'hem posat al forn fins que ha quedat tou.
And we baked it until it was soft.
Escalivat.
That's what we call
Escalivat,
it.
si vols.
Scalivat is the way we call that way of cooking it. Scalivat, which means grilled in the oven.
Aquí posarem 2 alls.
And we place 2 garlic cloves
Amb una mica de sal,
with some salt,
perquè tampoc no marxin, no saltin.
so that they don't start jumping.
no es pensin que a casa meva només faig allioli.
You shouldn't think that at home I only make aioli.
Realment no en fem.
Actually, we don't make aioli.
És una salsa bàsicament per fer-ho doncs, quan et reuneixes amb els amics, quan fas una parellada de carns, quan menges carn a fora.
It's a sauce that you use or you make when you meet with friends or you go out on a barbecue and you grill meat, then you use it for the meat.
Aquí és una salsa menys forta que l'all i oli sol.
This sauce is is milder than the aioli on its own.
Perquè hi ha menys all
because there's less garlic.
Hi ha aquest dolç del codony que és molt bo.
And there's the sweetness of the quince that is really good. ¿Qué es quince?
El codony.
Ensenya'l. This is quince.
Si volen, sí, no, ja saben. No, ja està. És molt important, com abans, obtenir una massa molt homogènia.
It's very important, like before, to get a very homogeneous sauce, paste.
I la mateixa temperatura.
And the same temperature.
M'ha dit una veu d'aquí
I heard a little voice said
que les cases hi ha pestle and mortar però no es fan servir.
That in the houses here you have pestles and mortars, but people don't use it.
Ara ja sabreu com s'utilitza.
Now you can find out how it works.
No hi vaig fent. Ara sentireu el que és aquell soroll
And now you
típic.
can hear that noise that we talked about before, trinca.
Posem-ho. On ho agafa? Aquí? Aquí millor? Ho agafa bé, així?
Can you see?
Better?
Can you see?
Si no em poso aquí.
Is that?
No problem. Ara igual es talla.
Maybe we'll separate now.
De moment no. Una mica d'aigua. Aquí ja està. Ens ajudem amb una goteta d'aigua calenta.
Then we add some drops of hot water.
També es pot fer amb poma,
You can also use apple.
escalivada.
Again, escalivada means grilled,
Bàsicament
baked in the oven,
perquè perdi una part important de l'aigua
so that it loses an important part of the water,
i tingui més gust.
and it has more taste.
Bueno, espero que us hagi agradat l'allioli d'abans.
I hope you liked the aioli you tried before.
El plat no cal que el guardeu de record, es pot llançar a la sortida.
You don't have to keep the little dish, the little plate as a souvenir. You can just throw it away on the way out.
Això no va gaire bé, eh?
It's not working very well.
No, és igual. Quan sembli que es pot tallar,
When it looks as if it's going to separate,
has d'anar a buscar un altre cop, posar-ho dalt, i anar a buscar dalt i muntar-ho dalt.
you have to kind of lift the pestle a little bit towards the top and then try and stir and see if it works.
Si vaig muntar aquell de 25 litres, aquest...
So if I was able to do
Ai, de
that
5
one
litres.
of 5 liter, then they should not take that much.
Era el meu germà bessó.
It was my twin brother, actually.
Ens ajudem una mica més d'aigua. Això ens hauran d'explicar ells per què amb aigua em va més bé. Jo no ho sé per
Some
què.
water, and they will have to tell you why water helps. I don't really know.
Va bé, eh?
It's working.
Sí, estic una mica incòmode. És la primera vegada que em faig avui.
This is the first time I do this. La primera vegada que ho fas?
No,
Què has dit la primera vegada que què?
que em faig. És la primera vegada que em faig.
Yeah, I think I interpreted the right thing. I was double checking.
Fa 3 mesos que a casa meva només es menja aioli.
At
Per
home,
esmorzar, dinar i sopar.
we've been eating aioli for 3 months, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
I per berenar també.
and as a snack too.
Quan el tindré, el podré girar i no caurà.
And then when I'm done, I'll be able to turn it upside down and it won't fall,
Com volia fer el Dave.
as Dave wanted to do before.
1 minut i ja està, eh?
A minute and we'll be done.
Un minut de cuiner, que són 3.
We call that, a cook minute, which means 3 minutes.
Quan vas al restaurant diuen 15 minuts, una paella.
Right, when you go to a restaurant, they say the paella will take 15 minutes.
I tarda més.
And it's much longer, I can tell you.
So while he's doing this, we can understand this simply. What he's trying to do is make a solid out of 2 fluids. That's what this kind of emulsion is. And the way he does that is he packs drops of oil at high concentration in a continuous phase made of water and the apples in this case. And it's going to become solid because he has lots of drops of the oil. And he adds water because you have...
Parem. Si algú després ho vol provar...
If you want to try it, you're welcome.
He adds the water because if you put too much oil in, you need to have enough water to coat all the surfaces. If it's too much oil, there's not enough water. He adds a little bit more water. When it fails, it inverts, and the water goes inside, and you make drops of water instead of drops of oil. That's the failure mode. He's trying to avoid that. You avoid that by not having too much oil. He wants to get enough oil to make it solid, but not so much that it inverts.
Thank you. Començo a preparar l'aire. Ara per acabar,
Now, to finish,
farem un aire
we're going to make an air
de llet desnatada.
of skim milk.
N'hem agafat 2 marques,
We have 2 different kinds here,
perquè
brands.
si una no ens surt bé, igual l'altra ens surt bé.
So maybe if one doesn't work, the other one may work.
Després ens explicaran per què, eh?
Then they will tell us why.
Això no va bé, això. Només que l'escalfis una mica.
So this is a foam.
Només que l'escalfis una mica.
This is a foam.
L'acabes amb
And again, he's
sucre
trying to make
moreno.
a solid out of a gas and a fluid. It's going to become a solid. And he does that by packing the air bubbles in at very high concentration.
Va bé, eh?
It's working.
Good job.
What that means is there's enough surfactant to stabilize it. We didn't explain what surfactant is, but we will tomorrow. So you have to come back next week when we have a little summary of this. So Michael tells me I have to tell you now, surfactant is a special molecule. It's surface active, surfactant. It goes to the interface and it stabilizes the interface. The important thing for surfactant in food is to stabilize the interface, to prevent the interface from disappearing. Michael says it costs a lot of energy. You can protect the interface by putting surfactant on the interface. Where does the surfactant come from in milk? It's the proteins.
És un plat que a casa meva faig amb moltes més coses, eh?
The way I make it at home, I use many other ingredients.
Aquí només ho hem fet amb sucre,
Here we only use sugar,
sucre moscovado.
moscovado. Any idea? Moscovado means? Què vol dir moscovado?
És un tipus de sucre.
It's a kind of sugar. Oh yeah, it's
Molt...
brown sugar. Yes, thank you.
I té gust de regalèssia.
He says it tastes like licorice.
Porta algú que es vegi bé, això que podem posar en un platet d'aquests petits, sisplau. És... Tens sucre moreno? Et passa'm el sucre moreno. No és una cosa molt estable, no
It's
dura
not
molt.
a very stable thing. It doesn't last long.
És per posar a última hora i donar un toc especial.
You put it on at last minute, you know, to
Bueno,
have this
jo he
nice
acabat,
garnish.
moltes gràcies.
I'm done. Thank you very much.
Un moment. Si aneu a Barcelona, Catalunya,
If you go to Barcelona, Catalonia,
us espero a casa meva.
I hope you come. You will very welcome at my home.
Merci.
Before people come up to try to taste a little bit, if you come up at the end, we have time for just a few questions.
Okay, I just want to ask you, can you say a few words about hollandaise sauce? It has any special way of making that emulsion?
Sí, és aquesta que hem fet amb el rovell d'ou,
It's the one we made with the yolk
de lloc a temperatura, igualant la temperatura amb la mantega clarificada.
and the light water has the same temperature as
De la mantega clarificada. Igualant la temperatura
de què? La mantega i què més? And the egg.
en diec.
Hollandaise sauce.
The
Yolk.
I muntant amb la mateixa temperatura, 50 graus aproximadament.
And then we use the same temperature, about 50 degrees.
Si vol, per ell, quan acabi, si vol venir, li tornaré a explicar sense
If
cap
you
problema.
want, when we finish, you can come here and I'll tell you in a
Serà un
minute. It will be my pleasure to tell you how it works.
So when you're making an emulsion, you're periodically adding water to thin out the sauce. How do you decide when the sauce has reached the end point and you don't want to just keep adding water and oil? Like, how do you know how much you can make for your emulsifying agent?
Bueno, jo ho sé quan s'està espessint massa,
I know when it thickens too much,
quan s'està espessint massa i afegeixo una mica d'aigua i la
then
puc
I
allargar
add
i
a
puc
little
seguir tirant
water and then I can carry on adding the fat.
Ell et pot explicar
He
per què
can
passa
tell
això.
you why that happens.
The concentration of the drops are getting too high, and so you have to add the continuous phase, which is the water. So he adds a little water, it dilutes it down, then he can mix more of the drops in, more of the oil.
Yeah, and when do you have to end that? Like there's a limit to how much oil and water you can add, right?
Sí, estem parlant de l'all i oli, no?
We are talking about aioli, right?
Yeah, or mayonnaise or anything.
Bueno, tant en fred com en calent, tant l'all i oli com la holandesa,
The hollandaise or the aioli, even warm or cold.
hi ha d'haver, per 2 rovells, pots fer X quantitat de
For
greix.
2 yolks, you can make a certain quantity of the greix,
Sí.
of fat or oil.
Exacte. Si et passes,
But if
hi ha molta possibilitat de que es talli.
you put too much, then it will separate, most likely.
It's determined by the amount of surfactant that's available. That's what sets the limit.
Thank you. I have a question about milk, and if you use different types of milk, sheep and goat, and if you only use cow, and if you can use different levels of fat of the milk.
No, nosaltres això només ho hem fet amb vaca,
We only use cow milk for this,
desnatada, a més a més.
skimmed milk.
Llet sencera no va bé,
The whole milk doesn't really work.
no va tan bé.
It doesn't work so well.
Si es fa amb llet d'ovella
Why?
o de cabra,
If you use goat or sheep milk,
no ho he provat.
I really haven't tried that.
És possible que vagi bé.
Maybe it can work.
I si no, hi ha una altra cosa, que és afegir-hi una mica de lecitina.
Or you can add a little lecithin.
Una mica.
Just a little.
Una mica de lecitina.
Just a little lecithin.
It's a surfactant.
Thank you.
It's the world's best surfactant.
Could we, in making emulsions, is it possible to use blenders that have variable speeds compared to the time-consuming mortar and pestle? And does the emulsion in either techniques would be any different in terms of its stability and texture and so forth?
Sí.
Yes.
Demà farem una
Tomorrow
prova
we're going to try something
que és que amb els mateixos ingredients,
using the same ingredients,
els mateixos, ho fas amb el morter o ho fas amb el túrmix,
If you use the mortar or if you use the blender,
queda
hand
diferent
blender,
gust,
it's going to be different taste,
diferent color,
different color,
diferent textura,
different texture.
totalment diferent.
Everything is going to be different.
No ho sé per què passa.
I don't know why that happens.
Estem a Harvard.
We are in Harvard.
Hi. Thanks for the presentation. It's really interesting. Is lecithin the main surfactant in egg yolks, and that's the thing that's letting you make aioli?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
So
when he's saying no, is he saying, I have to answer, and
Right.
the answer is yes.
So in that case, my question is, have you ever tried making aioli using sort of just lecithin instead of egg yolks? And how is that process different?
No he
No,
provat.
I haven't tried that.
Okay.
Però ells segur que sí que ho han provat.
I'm sure they have.
It should work.
It should work?
But it's a great experiment to try
Okay.
tonight in your house.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Right? It works. OJ says it works, and it should. It absolutely should.
I kind of did it last night, actually.
Somebody said they did.
Kate said that.
Kate. Kate did it last night.
I was
so Kate
practicing
and
next
OJ
week's
did it.
lab.
Right. So here's the trick. If it's not working, add a little lecithin. Add some surfactant. That's really what you need. It stabilizes the surface.
You explained why the balance between water is important when making an emulsion, especially for the cold ones. For hot ones, the temperature is very important as well. If it's too cold, it'll split, or if it's too hot, it'll split. Do we understand the relationship between that, why that's the case?
Jo l'entenc.
I understand it
Jo l'entenc per la pràctica.
because I've been doing it from my experience.
Però al nostre país
But in our country,
deien que es tallava l'aioli.
they said that aioli separated.
No puc dir.
I
Em prohibeixen que digui.
They forbidden me to say why.
No, és igual, ja ho puc dir. Deien, hi havia un dit que tallava que la senyora que tenia a la regla,
oh yeah, if you had the menstruation,
que no podia fer l'aioli que es
you couldn't
tallava.
make the aioli because then it would separate.
És mentida.
It's a lie.
It's true. I després,
That's what they used to say.
això, a la quantitat,
And then the quantity.
o quan hi tiro l'aigua és quan jo ho sé.
You know, I add the water because I know, I see it when I have to do it.
Però ens ho han d'explicar ells.
From experience, but they have to tell you.
No, the science can't tell you, can't answer that one. That's an old wives' tale.
Yeah, have you seen any influence of the material of the container when doing the sauce?
Excuse me, have you seen any?
Influence of the material of the container.
Sí, el material que fa.
Even if it's made in wood or glass or...
No, és més fàcil amb morters de fusta
It's easier if you use wooden mortars
que no pas amb aquest de plàstic.
than using a plastic mortar.
Perquè munta més de pressa.
Because it blends together quicker.
Una mica més de pressa.
A little quicker.
Hi. When making the foam with the milk, how is that different than whipping heavy cream to create a whipped cream? Does it have to do with the surfactant and the fat content?
És que és diferent. És diferent.
It's different.
Amb llet és
With
una
milk
espuma.
is a foam.
Una espuma més gustosa.
It has more taste.
I molt més grassa.
And it's more fatty.
Molt grassa. Això és molt... Això no té gens de greix.
This has no fat.
I és molt... Pots posar-ho en plats molt lleugers que no és greixós.
And then you can add it to some light dishes.
I understand the concept, but isn't the idea the same, that you're whipping the protein molecules and having the surfactant create the protein molecules so they expand and can accept more air into them?
No ho sé.
I don't know.
So he says he doesn't know, but the reason is that it's the viscosity of the fluid. So the thicker fluid folds in and you get more air into it.
So hence
it's just the way you're mixing it, because it's a mixing process that's mixing air into the fluid.
So the foam is just lighter than
so it's more viscous, so it just folds and it keeps the air in much better. Here you have to really beat it to get the air to stay into it.
So you talked a little bit about how the garlic has to be completely made into a paste in the beginning. If you don't do that so well, will it get in the way of the emulsification at all? If the garlic is too chunky, or if you don't grind it for 5 minutes or so?
It will separate.
Perquè comences ja no comences bé.
Because you don't start the right way.
No hi ha res que lligui.
There's nothing that kind of allows it to blend together.
Perquè amb la morter quasi no fas capes, no fas. Si ho fessis amb un túrmix no passa res.
If you did it with a hand blender, nothing would happen.
Si ho fas amb un túrmix i ho fas amb
If
rovens
you do it with a hand blender
alls sencers
and with garlic,
i comences des de baix,
and you start from the bottom,
es munta sense cap problema.
There's no problem. It will
Però no té el mateix gust.
But it doesn't have the same taste.
What you've presented this evening, I'm not suggesting in any way that it's easy, but there's a kind of simplicity to the recipes that you've shared tonight. And what I'm wondering is, do you have a kind of preference for a more simple approach to the food that you create, as opposed, or how do you see much more elaborate creations that some avant-garde chefs are interested in? I just see how you see that sort of difference, if you think there is a kind of a difference there.
Bueno, jo crec que jo crec que totes les cuines són molt interessants.
I think that all types of cooking are really interesting.
Avui la meva ponència es basava
Today my talk
bàsicament
was
en emulsions.
about emulsions.
Una emulsió és una tècnica que fem servir a
And
vegades.
an emulsion is a technique that we use sometimes.
Cinc tècniques en un plat. Aquí
Maybe
hauria aquesta
we
emulsió.
use 5 techniques in one dish.
La poma,
Here there was
un gelat,
the apple. We usually make it with ice cream.
un granissat,
Or slash.
Hi podria haver moltes més coses en una elaboració.
There could be many other things in one dish.
Jo avui només en feia una, que era emulsions.
But today I only had to talk about one, which was emulsions.
Però jo també m'ha semblat que ho deia per...
But I think perhaps you meant...
Si m'interessava les coses molt més complexes.
If I was interested in more complex things.
Jo crec que fer coses simples, que siguin genials, és més difícil que unes que hi haguin moltes coses.
Simple things that are really well done is more complicated sometimes than things that are very complex.
Un plat amb un sol ingredient.
One dish with just one ingredient.
3 processos.
And 3 processes.
Si és genial, és molt bo.
Really good. I mean, if it's great, it can be really good.
Si hi ha 12 ingredients.
If there are 12 ingredients.
I 5 tècniques.
And 5 techniques.
És més fàcil que et sorprengui.
It's easier to get a surprise.
I guess this is a 2-part question. One is, sometimes when my mother cooks, and if the sauce is not thick enough, she adds maizena, which is cornstarch. And I wonder if there are other things that you add to thicken sauces. I don't know if they're emulsions. And then, for the science man, why that is.
Maizena. No, maizena nosaltres n'utilitzem.
Cornstarch, we use it.
Per fer la crema catalana.
To make, for example, crema catalana. It's not creme brulee, it's similar, but it's Catalan cream, it's cream, similar to creme brulee.
Per lligar salses de carn, també.
Or for sauces that go with meat.
Ho utilitzem.
To blend it. We also use
però
cornstarch.
Necessita, és una fècula que necessita coure's.
But usually it needs to cook.
Com a mínim 7, 8 minuts.
At least 7 or 8 minutes.
I que arribi a una temperatura
and to
ideal.
Reach the ideal temperature.
Crua no es pot menjar.
Because if it's raw, you cannot eat it. Utilitzes alguna cosa més per solidificar-ho, a part de la maizena?
Per què?
Perquè quedi més solidificat.
Xantana.
Xanthangam.
Xantana o alginats.
Xanthangam.
Tipus d'alginats, no?
Alginate.
So the answer to your question about what's happening is you have to come next week. It's about gelation. That's what the lecture is next week. Are there any other questions? Up here.
This is a science question. How much energy is actually stored in the emulsion in these typical volumes, and how does it compare to the mechanical energy that went into it?
It's a good question. We're going to calculate the amount of energy tomorrow. I haven't done it yet. I have to do it tonight. But you put much more energy in to make it than actually is stored, because it's a very inefficient process to break the surface. So you actually put a lot more energy, you use a lot more energy than actually is stored in the emulsion.
He had mentioned that the taste of the emulsions in the mortar and pestle is better than anything that's used mechanically, like a blender. There's going to be a better reason or a better explanation to it rather than just it tastes better. I mean, is it a science behind this?
Incorporem menys aire.
Well, there's less air.
Suposo que és degut a això.
I believe it must be because of that.
Quan tu fas un sofregit de tomàquet per una pasta...
So when you make some tomato sauce,
Natural, salsa natural.
With fresh tomatoes.
I la passes per un xino, normal.
And then you strain it.
Sense túrmics.
Without using the hand blender.
Queda un color vermell.
And then you see that red color.
Si ho poses pel túrmix, el mateix.
But if you use a hand blender, the same thing.
Queda carbassa i canvia el gust.
And then the color changes, it becomes orange, and the taste changes too.
No ho sé per què.
I don't know why.
El Dave.
I don't know why the color changes. That I can't tell you. It's some interaction with the container. Pardon? Oh no, but that's a different thing. The reason that the texture changes, the sense changes, is because what's important is the number of drops and their size, and that can change the way you make it. And that's what changes the texture. The smaller the drops, the more concentrated they are, the stiffer the emulsion of the foam.
Dave, we had a comment too.
With that said, would it be correct to surmise that the temperature of the actual blender would be changing the color, as where the blender is using energy, and the temperature is actually stabilized using the mortar and pestle? So I think basically what I'm saying is I think the color change and the taste change is because the temperature change of the machinery actually doing the work would lend toward a different product.
No, sí, també.
Maybe, yeah.
La temperatura fa transformar els
The
colors.
temperature transforms colors.
Ja ho veiem amb la carn.
You know, you can see with meat.
Medium
Medium or rare.
So that's a good experiment we could do by measuring the temperature, but at this point...
That's not the reason.
At this point, I think we should thank Nando one more time for a great lecture.
Thank you. Thank you. That's terrific. Thank you. Gràcies. Ja podem plegar, eh? Estem.